Hello, and welcome to the AgWorks Aquaponic Mobile Classroom. The AgWorks Mobile Lab travels across the state to a variety of different events, both at businesses, at local parks and streams, county fairs, to bring aquaponic and agricultural-based education to those across our community. Now, what is aquaponics and how does all of this work? AgWorks, our main facility, is located at our Capitol Campus Family Service Center. We have the largest educationally based aquaponic facility in the country. That's important to note because as a cyber school, we do both in-person and online programming, but if you're not local to the Harrisburg area, how can you get that hands-on in-person experience? The mobile lab. Now, when we deploy this across the state, we do want to be able to educate our visitors. And the easiest and fastest way to do that, of course, is to give them an overview of everything that we have going on in this mobile trailer. Now here we have our custom-made fish tank. This houses a variety of different types of fish, but 90% of the time you're gonna find tilapia as the main fish in the system. Now, tilapia is a great choice for aquaponics because it's a very resilient fish. So right now, November, it's a little bit chilly outside, so we do have a heater in our system. But these fish in general, because they are so resilient, they don't really get bothered at all when this trailer goes to Erie, goes to Dixon City, goes out to Philly. These guys are pretty happy pretty much all the time, which is very important in aquaponics because if our fish aren't happy, it can actually ruin your entire ecosystem. Now, why is that? Well, fish in aquaponics, they're the main drivers. So your fish, they eat a lot of food. These guys are tilapia, so they eat the food and they produce the waste. Now that waste, we don't want that hanging out in the tank. So in our system, we move that waste water, which is nutrients or fertilizer for our plants, from the tank over into our beds and our vertical grow racks. Now, as that nutrient-rich water makes its way into these beds, it's important to note that it comes from the top area, but it also gets pumped right into the bed. Now, those of you that may be working on the lab, we have a variety of different plants that we put in our system. Most of the time, you're gonna see some kind of variety of lettuce, like what we have going on right now. We also have Swiss chard. We have a companion plant of chives in here. We also have some kale. Usually these plants will be labeled, but ahead of this session, if you want to reach out to an AgWorks employee and ask, if it's not labeled ahead of time, you're more than welcome to. Now in this system, as the water makes its way down, you're going to notice some air-blown clay pellets. A lot of visitors will ask about grow medium. Here in the aquaponics mobile trailer, we use air-blown clay because it's really, really light. It's also very porous. In aquaponics, the fish and fish waste gets converted by bacteria into that usable fertilizer, which means that these pellets that are really porous and have a lot of great crevices, it's a great place for that bacteria to grow and reproduce. Also, it being very light, it also allows this trailer to safely travel across the state because we have a lot of water on this side, we have some benches and things on the other, but we want to try to make sure that the trailer itself from a weight perspective is as even as possible, which is why we use those air-blown clay pellets. Now, as the water makes its way down our system, you have to make sure that everything is properly calibrated, meaning that you have just the right amount of fish to just the right amount of plants. Because as that fish waste water makes its way into these beds, that nutrient gets removed from the water by these plants, effectively cleaning the water. So when it cycles back to the tank, it's nice and fresh and clean, and you can start that process all over again. If you have too many fish, then you have too much waste for these guys to process, So waste is just building up in your system. That's no good. If you don't have the right amount or the right kind of plants in your system, you also don't have a way to clean the water for when it cycles back to the tank. So aquaponics really is a pretty delicate ecosystem that we make sure is nice and in balance, and then we use it as a platform for educating the community, but also our students. The aquaponics lab travels all across the state, and sometimes items in the trailer get a little bit dislodged. So when it arrives, you may notice some droopy, wilted plants. There's usually a really easy way to solve that. The water trickles down through here, and all you have to do is give these pipes just a little bit of a shake. Not very hard. You just shake them a little bit from left to right, and that helps to redisperse the water. Now, another frequently asked question that we receive is, what are you planting your plants in? Great question. So, to show this, you can always pop one of these out, because I will note we don't eat any produce off of the trailer because it's solely used as a learning tool. But here we have rock wool right here that these plants are seeded out in. Now, rock wool is superheated rock that is spun like cotton candy into a little square with a well on the top that you put your seed in. After that seed germinates, it's ready to be transplanted into our system, where it grows to be this size. Now you'll notice these plants also have these LED lights above. We can change these lights and make them all white. We can make them all blue. We can even make them red. Now on the aquaponic mobile trailer, we can do a variety of different types of experiments, but because we're doing more of a general education-based type program from here, these lights are usually set at all different kinds of settings when they're deployed. What's important to note though is in our main lab, we do a lot of lighting experiments. So these lights on the trailer are used to help grow these plants, because LED lights can actually change the size, the shape, the color, even the nutritional value of your plants. So it's another great learning opportunity for students. Overall, if you do receive really in-depth, concrete questions from those that are traveling through, if you are comfortable answering them, you're more than welcome to. There is located on the trailer kind of a frequently asked FAQ binder and manual, just in case you want to dig a little bit deeper. You're also more than welcome to invite members of the community to scan our QR codes for more information. If you do get that really in-depth question, you're also more than welcome to tell them, I'm not sure, but I'll get you in contact with one of our AgWorks staff members, and you can provide our email at agworks@csaeducate.me, and we're more than happy to address some of those really in-depth questions that you may occasionally get from members of the community. Thank you so much for taking the time to visit the AgWorks Aquaponic Mobile Lab. I hope you have a great rest of your day.